So this was Detective Howard talking to Kanan at the police station after he brought him in, and it was way before then that we knew that Howard was Kanan's father. I said in a previous video that I really wouldn't be surprised if we'd seen someone from Howard's family on screen already, but I never actually thought it would be Kanan, even with the rumours and the connection between him and Rack that we knew from his character description, because they made such a point about talking about Kanan's father being DEFCON. There was Rack telling us a few times and a few stories about DEFCON and Unique as well, but Rack knew the truth all along, and it's going to be one intense scene when Kanan does find out, because her mother has been lying to him for many years, and it's only a matter of time before the truth does come out. But we're going to talk about two main topics from the episode, and that's of course Howard being Kanan's father, and the other one being Jukebox, because we're about to see Jukebox really be unleashed in the last half of the season. She really showed her wits in this episode, knowing that it was Davina who was the one who leaked the location for the stash house, and she knows that Raquel's most trusted soldier is Scrappy. But more importantly, she said to Kanan that there are more secrets to the Thomas family that he doesn't even know. So we're going to dissect these two topics in this video, but of course if you're new to the channel and you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related. Now undeniably this was the best episode so far. I know some of you did predict that Howard was Kanan's father, despite all this talk about DEFCON in the first few episodes, but if you didn't know then let me know in the comment section at what point did you know that Howard was Kanan's father, because for me it was telling during this conversation with the doctor after she told him to basically get his affairs in order because neither of his cousins are a match, and you just knew at this point there was a family member that we'd seen on screen already, and this picture that was given us to us some time ago, I questioned, what is this conversation going to be between Kanan and Howard? What secrets are going to be revealed in this conversation? And of course that moment he asked him for his date of birth, which is August 15th, 1975. Happy birthday by the way Kanan, what a present for him on his birthday. Although he hasn't found out yet, but it was Howard who found out because he thought he was 16 and not 15, and it just didn't add up in his mind because DEFCON was put in prison in 1974 with no conjugal visits from Raquel, so the only explanation was Kanan was Howard's because he'd been fucking Raquel at the time, and that's why he holds a special cold and a dark heart for Raquel. And he asked Raquel at the time when Kanan was a baby, how old was he, because at the time he did wonder, and it did cross his mind, and this conversation between Raquel and Howard was really intense. But let's get into some of your comments because this is what it's all about. I want to see what you guys made of what went down today. And they actually foreshadowed from the very first episode that Howard was Kanan's son, despite all the talk about DEFCON, when Davina told Kanan that your daddy was the biggest dope dealer in the hood, and in episode 2 Howard said you're either confused about who the fuck I am or who the fuck you are, and it was very cryptic, but Unique's response did imply that despite his position in auto-tune and law enforcement, still respects Malcolm and allowed him to come in as he pleases. And I have to agree with some elements from the past conversations, they can be looked at now and it does make all sense with what we saw today. There was this moment in episode 3 where Detective Howard said every cop and criminal knows that Malcolm Howard holds it the fuck down, and that instantly told me that he has a past in the streets where he was heavily involved with both DEFCON and High Post. And it really does make sense that Rack and Howard could have had a part to play in DEFCON being put in jail, or at least Rack helped him set him up, because then it would mean that she can step up into the drug business, albeit High Post was then in charge. DEFCON had Raquel working in the stash houses just like Kanan, and Raquel told us today that Kanan is just like her. She didn't want to be working in the stash houses when DEFCON put her there, and Raquel was probably exactly like Kanan, being rebellious and doing more than she's told, so it would make sense that Raquel plotted her way to the top by putting DEFCON away, and of course with the help of Howard. Now what wasn't revealed in this conversation between Howard and Raquel was that Howard was pretty much dead if he doesn't find a match for his transplant. Prime Gaming is on the same wavelength as me in my review and recap video, and probably a lot of people's wavelengths when he said that Kanan would be a match for his transplant, because it's the only way I can see this working out is if Detective Howard is a step ahead of Rack to get to owe him a favour. And I'm going to agree and disagree with the last part of his comment to a certain extent, and I'll tell you why. If you didn't know, favours has been a theme ever since Lulu mentioned it in the last episode, that favours is just a way of ending up under people's thumb. We saw Lulu doing a favour for Crown's partner at the studio so he can owe him one, which he used to get Jukebox's studio time, and episode 6 is going to continue the theme of favours. If you've seen the episode 6 trailer, or if you're someone who doesn't want to know what happened, then I'm not going to dive deep into it in this video, but I will do tomorrow when I do my trailer breakdown. But Prime Gaming thinks he can only see this working out is if Rack owes him a favour, but I can actually see Raquel using this to advantage when she finds out that Detective Howard is dying, and knowing that Kanan is going to be a match for him. Jade is thinking what I was thinking when she said Rack could really use Howard to her advantage, knowing that he's his son. And I agree, Raquel can use this to her advantage, but there are two problems. Would Kanan ever consent to the transplant? And Raquel doesn't even know about Howard's cancer yet, but I do expect it to be revealed at some point during this season, and probably not until later on down the line, because Howard will know not to show all his cards to Raquel because he knows that Raquel is someone that can really have you by the balls. And I really wouldn't be surprised if Raquel was the one who killed High Post as well. It's something I mentioned before in one of my previous videos because she's ruthless. She would have wanted to get to the top of the game, and even though she was madly in love with him, sometimes you do have to kill the leader to get to the top. Ghost killed Breeze and sent Kanan away to prison, and I really wouldn't be surprised if it's revealed later that Rack did kill High Post, but I'm definitely going to dive deeper into this topic in a video during the mid-season break. But let's move on to Jukebox and touch on a few topics surrounding a character, and one of my favourite characters of Raising Kanan, because we are really starting to see why she was this cold character in Power, and her relationship with Nicole at an early age would have contributed towards this, and now we can see how she experienced love for the first time with a person who gets her, then fell in swoop. She experienced heartbreak, homophobia, racism, and belittling in a matter of seconds, and she knows deep down that she can't unleash on her girlfriend's parents, and now she has all this trauma bottled in. And this comment really tells us everything we need to know about how love burned Jukebox. We talk about how Kanan would get burned by Davina, but this was Jukebox learning a harsh lessons of love. You could really see it in Jukebox's eyes when she spoke about Nicole at the bodega, how much in love she really was. Despite them coming from two completely different backgrounds, areas, and lives, they really do get each other. But this also shows how cold and ruthless Jukebox can flip her emotions. When she's with Nicole, she's Laverne, but the face that she makes every time she leaves Nicole, she instantly turns back into Jukebox, switching her feelings off. And over the last half of the season, because of this heartbreak and setback that Jukebox has felt, she's really going to turn into one ruthless savage. And you can really see why she was more ruthless than Kanan. She experienced more than him. She has wits about her, about knowing that Davina was the one who leaked the location to the stash house, and that Scrappy is one of Raquel's most trusted soldiers. She was close to Raquel, and they always used to talk long into the night and reveal secrets about one another. So let's talk about these secrets and the secrets that Jukebox seems to know, because Kanan said, "What you know about my family?" And Juke said, "I know your family is my family, and there's shit about our family that you don't know, secrets that you don't want to know." So what are the secrets that Jukebox knows that Kanan doesn't? Because I can think of one thing, and it's that she knows that Lulu was probably the one who killed D-Wiz, but there's also this girl time that she used to have with Raquel, and it takes me back to their conversation in episode 3. Jukebox used to live with Raquel, probably during the time where Marvin was inside, which was revealed today, and during this conversation they revealed a few secrets between them, and the secrets in my eyes would have come from Raquel, which Jukebox knows. So what does Jukebox know? Does she know that Howard is Kanan's father? Does she know about what really happened with DEFCON and High Post? Or are there more secrets which at some point will be revealed? Now one thing's for sure, we saw a real turning point for Jukebox and Kanan's character when Kanan told her that "I suggest you watch your fucking mouth," and I do feel now we're really starting to see why Kanan killed Juke in power. I'm sticking with my original prediction that Juke does kill Davina, and something that Kanan probably never forgave her for. I can really see a situation where Raquel finds out about Davina, and maybe has Juke kill Davina because Kanan just won't be able to. But this is something I'm going to dive deeper into this week when I do a storyline breakdown surrounding this conversation between Kanan and Jukebox, because this does really need a deeper dive into. So let me know what you guys think of the mid-season finale, where there is going to be a 2-week break now until episode 6, but it's only one Sunday, so it's not too bad. But drop me all your thoughts on these key topics surrounding Detective Howard and Jukebox. Let me know your general thoughts about anything else as well, and I'm going to be replying to as many comments as I can. And of course, if you haven't done so already, then remember to smash the subscribe button if you want to see everything Power Book 3 and Power Universe related, because I'm going to dive deeper into a lot more storylines during this mid-season break. But as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.